What is going on, my friends? Welcome to the Josh and Ashlee Show. What is the Josh and Ashlee Show? I don't know that we know the answer to that, but I do know if you want to grow your small business and make dozens of dollars and change the world and raise world-changing children and talk about weird pop culture and news stories, then you should definitely stop what you're doing and sort of pay attention to this. Ashlee, how are you?
I am so excited. I had some Friendsgiving last night. Friendsgiving, I had the best turkey I've ever eaten in my entire life. It was to die for. J-Lo in the sound booth made it. It was like a pesto butter with a rosemary stuffed in the cavity.
In the what?
Okay, well, I was going to say stuffed in the butt, but stuffed in the cavity. And I've been dreaming about it ever since. So
wait, I have to open a loop.
Friendsgiving did it hard, so I
forgot to open a loop.
Oh, open your loop.
So today we're going to talk. We're going to talk about Donald Trump, Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, and Kanye, and Elon again. Can't seem to escape talking about him. He's like the best marketer in the world. Also the richest man in the world. Is that a coincidence? I think not. We're going to talk about celebrity gatekeepers. We're going to teach you about this really cool thing called the Q Index and how it applies to your small business. We'll talk about Black Friday and then 5 ways to grow your small business. It's going to be a banger of a Josh and Ashlee show.
A banger. It's going to be a banger.
It's going to be a banger. So first thing is Donald Trump is back on Twitter.
Back on Twitter. There's a lot of people back on Twitter.
I don't think he's tweeting on Twitter, but his account is unlocked or whatever, right?
Oh my goodness. I have to say, Elon Musk, I don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy, so everybody just pause there. But he's the most brilliant marketer because we talk about him every time because we can't not talk about him. Mm-hmm. So even the people that hate him, like the girl that he changed her name to Fart or whatever, like we can't stop talking about Elon because hello, he just is always in the news. He's always doing something edgy. Like he didn't reinstate everybody at the same time. He's doing the thing that I said. He's dripping them out and everybody's throwing a party every single time.
Yeah, and Trump wasn't the only one. You had Andrew Tate. If you haven't seen him, then welcome to the internet because he's been everywhere. The people love to hate that guy too. And then Jordan Peterson, why would you ban Jordan Peterson? Jordan Peterson, in my opinion, is literally a living like Socrates of our time. I don't understand how people don't like his irrefutable truth bombs of logic, but hey, that's just me because I have confirmation bias in my own worldview, I guess. And then Jibby Will, tell us about Kanye a little bit. What happened with him? He's back on Twitter, right?
He's back on Twitter.
So he was, from the comments that he made, he was dropped by Adidas and Balenciaga, which is a fashion designer. Balenciaga.
What is that?
It's a French designer. They started with making dresses like a long time ago.
Okay.
And now they've kind of gone into like more of a street fashion.
Street fashion.
Yeah, like crazy ripped jeans, oversized stuff that's like 3 sizes too big for what it's listed as.
They're designer, babe. They're like $500 a
Can't
candle.
I just be that? I can just do that.
It's like would you say, Jibby Will, it's like a Gucci or a Louis Vuitton kind of brand?
Yeah, they've actually done a collaboration with Gucci.
See? Yeah. Adidas is doing one with Gucci too. Like these collabs are happening. But anyways, tell us about the collab that's putting a nuke in it. Decentralizing fashion right here, everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, so when they dropped him, Kanye actually decided to purchase hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Balenciaga, and he bought boots, he bought hats, shirts, hoodies, all of that.
Hundreds of millions of dollars?
Yeah, I mean, one jean jacket is like $1,400. So, I mean, he bought so much stuff.
But they dropped him and then he just gave them a bunch of money and bought their stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
And he decided to print Ye 24 because he announced his 2024 presidential campaign.
Wait.
Okay,
did not realize that.
Yeah, so throughout everything, that was one of the things he decided to announce. And so he bought all the Balenciaga, and he decided that was going to be his campaign merch, was going to be
fascinating.
Printing it, and he's selling everything for $20.
So if he spends $100 million, he's going to recollect $5 million or something, like massive loss, right?
Okay, no, false. I mean, he owns his Yeezy brand, and some Yeezys are like, we saw yesterday, those red flaming ones are like thousands and thousands of dollars. Mm-hmm. Like, and so he's just doing a marketing campaign. This is a marketing campaign. How much do people pay on their political campaigns? This is actually genius. He's going for the younger generation.
Well, if you're a Democrat, you get funded from FTX money. So
You're dropping nukes today.
It's just that's what happened, literally, as far as I can tell, right? Here's my question: is this luxury economy? Like, I view America as like the final stages of the Roman Empire in a way, because we have excessive luxury and live in total decadence. Even poor people in this country have unimaginable wealth when compared to human history, like the whole time horizon. You know, you have your Obama phone and your big screen TV and, you know, $15 minimum wage or whatever it is. Like, this is
minimum wage is higher than that now.
my point though is, and that's not a lot of money. I'm not saying that is a lot of money, but my point is was there a luxury goods market in the year 1611 or the year 342 AD?
You know, I can't really reminisce of those years. I don't really have good.
Well, I wonder, like, when the Roman Empire before it fell, they probably had things like this, right? There's like just, I don't know, gluttonous spending. Like, there's so much wealth and liquidity, and like people just, I don't know what it is, but it's weird to me that there is such a thing as $5,000 shoes. I'm not against it. I actually have some expensive shoes that my friend Bart made me buy because he's like, Josh, be more fashionable. So I bought Gucci shoes. There's a whole story with that. But it's interesting to me with the marketing small business brain, like how this happened and how can you become a designer and make a thing, and then it's like, I want to slow clap for these people because they've persuaded the earth that they should pay $500 for a candle. You said a candle, right? Well, there's a tiny candle for $500. It's amazing. But could that even have been a thing if we were not living in the society that we live in with all the technology and stuff?
Yes, but you always talk about there's three markets. There's relationship markets, the health markets, and status markets. These are status.
There's health, wealth, relationships. That's a Russell Brunson-ism. I don't know where he got it.
Okay, so it's a wealth status thing. I mean, the candle thing isn't because the candle burns better and more epic. It's because it's a status thing. If you have
100%.
that candle, then you are someone.
That is a good point. Because it's not about luxury goods. It's about human behavioral psychology.
Yeah.
Humans seek status in all things. Men want the pretty girl for status. Women want the rich man for status. Like, it's not about good or bad. It's like how humans work, right? So I would imagine back in the day, there were still status symbols, like a chariot. Like, if you have a super dope chariot back in the day, and you're like, oh yeah, this old thing, yeah, I just picked up. That's my second chariot. But anyway, how's your day going? So like, people were the same back then, bragging about their dumb stuff for status then too, right?
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Tate talks about status. I mean, this is like, I'm not a big Andrew Tate fan, so let's just be very clear about that. But I did see like a TikTok or something, an Instagram reel, where he was talking about Lamborghinis. If everybody owned a Lamborghini, it wouldn't be cool to own a Lamborghini.
Mm-hmm. There's no status anymore.
There's no status anymore. But also, I can't remember what Bart calls it, because Bart's so fascinated when he talks about your Gucci shoes. It's signaling, right? Isn't that what he calls it? It's like signaling to your perfect person, like that a shoe person, a Gucci shoe person, is going to know what your shoes are.
Yes. I call it a dog whistle.
A dog whistle. Okay, I can't remember what Bart says. He's got all these frameworks and all these amazing.
Bart Miller, shout out, fashionista.
Bart. But like,
cowboy, billionaire cowboy.
Literally, the shoes are signaling to people that, hey.
I think if you're a small business owner, what's the lesson? Why are we even talking about this? First of all, just to have fun because my family's here and it's amazing. I can do whatever I want. So, But secondarily,
no, you can never do that again. Do not ever do that again.
Secondary benefit is you can have a better business by thinking about ideas like this. Like think about it like this. No matter what you're selling, what service you're providing, you are continuously putting out to the world a series of nonverbal signals or dog whistles. So a dog whistle is an example of when you do something, say something, or imply that something's true that resonates with a specific person. Maybe no one else gets it, right? Maybe no one else notices the good. I don't notice fancy shoes. I don't know what $2,000 shoes look like versus regular ones, so it doesn't do anything for me. That means that I don't even give the person status that has that because it's not dog whistling to me. However, on the other hand, the things that I do value, you know, if I see a certain book or a marketing book or philosophy book or something, I'll be like, ooh, that guy's a baller. He has that rare book, right? So as business owners, even with a small service company, there's signals, right? Like the way that your vehicle is wrapped is a signal. The way that your sales guy smells is technically a signal, right?
Oh, smells are so signals. And the way, smells are like, signals.
Does he have an iPad? Does he? Have you choreographed your sales process in a way that pumps these nonverbal signals saying, hey, we're premium, we're luxury, we're high shelf, we're high ticket. And then they can be pleasantly surprised that you're only $200 more than the competing quote that was given to them. So we need to think about this stuff. What?
There's a few things that are signals for my husband. Are you guys ready?
Uh-oh. Not all signals are good signals.
No. If somebody uses like really big words, your like big sexy brain loves word butter. So if someone says something really smart, you're like, I'm going to listen to what they have to say.
It's
like,
not big words.
No, it's not big words.
It's saying a thing in a buttery, new, epiphanizing way. That's just like, I'll fanboy out.
You like
over
that.
people like
You
that.
also like when you go to, this is the dorky one. You like it when you go to like a restaurant and like the paper towel feels really soft and different. You're like, this must be fancy. Because it's not like the normal, like you're like, oh
that
man.
literally is a nonverbal signal. It's a good example.
Because you're always like, hey, did you see the paper towel in the bathroom? Like it's always a big thing for you.
Well, it's because the detail, like the thickness of the paper you give a customer when you give an estimate actually matters. Now the customer doesn't even consciously think about it, but when you hold it and it's waxy and it's got this thickness, it has weight to it, right? That one thing is one component in a stack of components that create the feeling of what your brand is. And it doesn't matter if you're a roofer or anything, right? How many rings did it take to answer the phone? What was your voice inflection like when you were on the phone? Did you use pacing and mirroring and all these things, right? Did you get the estimate really quick? Did you give them a bunch of prices and then tell them the ones they don't need, which builds trust with people? Like this is such a deep rabbit hole. I think small business owners don't realize like how much value can be unlocked by understanding this stuff that we can learn from, annoying celebrities that sell expensive things. It can help your business to know how to choreograph your own nonverbal signals to get higher prices and to make people appreciate what you have.
Can I talk about this for a second? I'm going to expand on it and go in a little different direction. It's got designer and it's got everything. Mm-hmm. So our son Tucker has been selling some stuff on eBay. He's flipped stuff on eBay. He's made lots of money, but he's been really into like different kinds of shoes and kind of looking at these luxury brands saying, what's going on here? How do I identify a fake or a real? Because the upsell value does change if it's a real or a fake. And, like purses and stuff, he's learned that there's like serial numbers in there. That means it's a limited quantity, which is also a marketing thing, right? Mm-hmm. Limited quantities.
Scarcity. Yep.
Scarcity. Also knowing how to track it. But there's also like little packaging and stuff that if there's the original packaging inside the designer bag, it's like, shut up. If there's a receipt in there, it's like, it makes the value. But it's the hardware. That's what Tucker's noticed. The hardware, the little tiny, delicate, the zipper quality is a little bit stronger. So those are the things. Is it might not be the whole bag is like something awesome. It's the little tiny details. So what are the little tiny details in your business? The nuances. What are the little tiny things that you can make a little bit extra that maybe not everybody notices, but when they notice, they know that that's a real thing.
Well, and
that's a luxury.
Even if you do what we're talking about, lots of people still won't care. Okay, so this isn't like this is some magic wand, but what it does is it's a dog whistle to the affluent. Being that we're going into a recessionary time, which I think will be relatively painful, it'll expose a lot of people. I don't think recessions create failures, they expose failures. But with that being said, we need to go upstream to the people that were dog whistling too, which is affluent people. Affluent people value things differently than non-affluent people. They value their time typically above everything else. They value premium and quality and status, for example, right? Now a thrifty person, you might do the whole dog and pony show of like choreographing everything and answering the phone and doing everything right and presenting your packages and slashing this and using urgency and scarcity and all of the marketing principles that help make a good offer. And you still don't get the job because they don't value that thing. They want the deal, the discount. They want the goodwill version of it. Because I think all of us in different categories of our life are like this. We're a premium affluent buyer mindset with one category of thing where we throw rationality out the window and overpay happily for something that we value, but we're super thrifty with things we don't value. I remember one time I gave a cleaning quote to a professional golfer, and we were broke. I had my 1993 Chevy Cavalier with the ladder on the roof, and I go there, this McMansion this guy has. He's got supercars and Corvettes and $100,000 boats in his driveway, and I'm like, oh, I got this, right? I give him the price. He's like, no. Can you do it for $300? I think I quoted him like $500. He's like, can you do it for $300? And I remember being so butthurt that he didn't care. And then a friend of mine, Kevin Dabrowski, pointed something out. He said, Josh, you realize that guy that didn't want you to wash his windows, the next day, probably spent $10,000 on a single golf club. Okay. The next day on a single golf club, because that's where his rationality goes out the window. That is the category of thing he cares about. His wife probably made him get a window cleaning quote, and he just doesn't care. So you're not going to get them all, but that's okay, right?
Yeah, it's okay. And, maybe I feel like we could have sold the deal a little bit better, maybe, if we would have known that ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because you were like really basing it off of your own insecurities and selling him of what he does want. He wants a happy wife, right? Happy wife, happy
good
life.
point.
So if you would have sold it like, hey, I bet your wife is, it probably takes a lot of work for her. I mean, if you could have really justified it and sold it, like really overcome the objectives,
Yeah.
you could have crushed it.
I
Babe.
definitely sucked at that back then.
Knew you would have done crushed it.
Okay, well, I appreciate the confidence in me. So I want to talk about the Q index, and I want to talk about celebrity gatekeepers losing. So in a way, Elon is like I don't know, he's kind of like decentralizing free speech, sort of, or that's what he's trying to do. That's why people hate him and like him. Bringing back people so everyone can disagree in the public square of Twitter and do that, which is amazing.
Kanye's decentralizing fashion, maybe. Maybe this is his new
Decentralizing fashion.
Yeah, 20
Well,
bucks.
I think like TikTok stars have decentralized fashion. Merch stores from YouTubers have decentralized fashion. You got to like decentralization is a macro trend in the world right now. You have cryptocurrency is decentralized currency. It takes power away from the gatekeepers of the currency, right? It's an alternative. But
Uber.
That's only one example. Uber is decentralized taxis. To get a taxi medallion, I think is what it's called, like in these major cities, years ago, it was like this totally corrupt insider baseball type of situation. And Uber has smashed that, and Lyft. Airbnb has decentralized hotels, basically, right? And there's like example after example. Even online education and courses and workshops and things is a form of decentralized education, which is amazing. The homeschooling movement. Everyone wants to maintain power and control over their thing, over their gate that they're in charge of, and they're just losing control, which is part of the awesome part about technology and the internet.
And I think it's just the beginning, right?
I think so.
It's just the beginning. But the decentralization of celebrities,
Yes.
that is like very interesting, because before you had to have like some movie producer, or even in the music industry, you used to have to go find some big label and have them listen to your stuff, or they'd come, because you know this,
yeah.
because you used to be in the music industry. If you didn't know that,
fun fact.
Fun fact: my husband almost
We
got
had,
signed
we
by
had dozens of fans.
That is not true. He almost got signed by Universal. So, but you used to have to do it. Now you can just have a TikTok thing go viral and your sound's everywhere.
Well, yeah, it's like, so kind of the reason we're going to talk about this today is right now we have decentralized fame, which is amazing, right? I mean, if you think about who is the guy in the black and white movies, Charlie Chaplin, right?
Yes, my mom and dad go to the silent movie and
So-
they love Charlie Chaplin.
The guy was such a legend. I mean, the idea back then of having just, big time celebrity status, it was trickier to have that because there's
Yeah.
less communication channels. People didn't know about stuff. They're on their family farm, like trying not to starve and freeze to death, and they're busy doing stuff. Today, well, I guess for then the next phase after that was, decades of centralized fame. Gatekeepers. You have to pay to play. You play ball. There's lots of like weird sexual scandals and stuff forever in Hollywood. Holly weird is what I call it. It's disgusting, the whole thing. But they're the
Some of that
gatekeepers.
was marketing, just so we know.
They're the gatekeepers of this gets famous, this message gets pushed out there. And today, what's super awesome is you can have the most weird niche thing ever. I was talking to someone who's a pet animal psychic. Okay. I'm not down with that. I don't roll with that, but like it's a beautiful thing in the sense that you could have a weird skill set. You can create your own micro fame and build a business around it. And you couldn't do that before. And
I have so
it's
many.
amazing.
I have so many questions about the pet psychic, but I want to keep on going with the celebrity thing. But I have so many questions.
Well, you were telling me too about Dancing with the Stars, which
Yes.
is one of the biggest shows ever. I don't watch it.
Okay, well maybe you should, because after
Doesn't
your
make sense to me.
Cancun escapades of your dancing, maybe you should watch Dancing with the Stars, get a few tips. But can I tell you about Can I
Yeah.
talk about it?
Yep.
Okay, so Dancing with the Stars is fascinating. First off, because it's like the 31st season or something, 30 or 31. We'll have to ask.
31th?
Well, 31th. Yeah, I just invented that.
I love it. Let's do it.
I just am going to go with it.
Keep it,
We
yep.
might need to have Jarrett look that up, But boomers were really sad, the boomer generation, because ABC took it off ABC and it put it on Disney Plus. And so you had to get Disney Plus to watch Dancing with the Stars. So people were very butthurt about that. But what's fascinating is the person that won last night was Charlie, how do you say it, Will? D'Amelio. Charlie D'Amelio. She's the TikTok star. She is the one who's got like, I don't even know. Like
148 million on TikTok.
148 million. And what's interesting is I even think that she's a TikTok dancer. Like that's what, she's the one, she exploded TikTok, right? I mean, partly. Or maybe it exploded and she just rode it all the way to the top. But the fascinating thing about Charlie is that maybe she was a marketing play from Disney Plus, because what happened is they go to Disney Plus. Now, this is just in Ashlee land, okay? She goes to Disney Plus and then she tells all of her 148 million followers to go vote for her. And so she's bringing in the younger generation. So maybe they were going away from the boomer generation, but they want the subscription model because, of course, Disney wants younger eyeballs. And so she puts it out there and then she ends up winning the whole thing. The second winner was also someone who got decentralized from fame. The second winner was someone who was on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. So, like, the fame thing is really getting decentralized. TikTok stars are winning Dancing with the Stars, which is also another reality show, but you had to be famous to do it.
I remember when I started my first podcast, I had sold my cleaning business. We moved to Costa Rica, and I sat in this tiny closet and I started recording a podcast. And I didn't think anyone would really listen to it. I mean, I thought a few people would listen to it. And then I started publishing, and I was diligent and consistent with it. And that, you know, it's content for like window cleaning companies and home service companies, right? And I put it out there and I stuck with it and I kept doing it for an extended period of time. And then I woke up one day and I realized it had been downloaded over 1 million times. And then one time I got asked to go speak at an industry event. And I've spoken at many industry events, but when this was first happening, I show up there, my kids are there, and all these people were like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous to meet you, Josh." And it was so uncomfortable. I'm like, uncomfortable for a couple of reasons. Number one, I didn't understand at that time the power and the responsibility of having any measure of influence over people, number one. Number two was I wanted to tell everybody that was like, wanted to shake my hand. I'm like, you can like record audio and put it on the internet for free too, right? Like I'm not doing anything, but no, that you can put out. Okay, wait a second though. So you can put out your own podcast. Anybody can do it. And there's a market and a niche for anything. Now, if it's really bad, people won't listen to it. But that's the beauty of starting, because when you're bad, nobody listens to you anyways. You get to practice, right? But the power of fame is insane, because I built whole companies off of that origin of a podcast that I never would have thought would have been possible.
Now, I agree that everybody could push record. I 100% believe that people can make their own way and everything. But there's this special ability that you have. Your smart, sexy brain, right? I want to lick it.
Don't make it weird.
Okay. Your smart, sexy brain, you just have a way of describing things that really epiphanizes people. It gives them certainty. Like, you really helped a lot of people, and you helped a lot of families. You gave them tools and resources and ideas. And like, I think the biggest thing that you give is certainty. Like, people are like, if he can do it, I can do it. Let's do this. And you just kept on telling people stories, and it was so powerful. So I think you're like really downplaying how powerful your words were. I know you don't.
First of all, thank you. It's super nice of you to say that. But when you've done 500 podcasts, you get better at talking about things. So you got to put in the reps. Like, you can't be good at anything unless you start. But I guess our point is, with decentralization, the opportunities for you, no matter what kind of small business you have, are greater than ever before. There's pressure cleaners that have 500,000 TikTok followers. It's the weirdest, craziest world we live in right now. It's insane. It's like, I feel like we live in the Truman Show sometimes, because there's a lot of really, really dark, bad, weird things, but there's also epic opportunities to change people's lives and invent things and create things and do things, even as a kid, like with our kids doing their business.
And I think it's just getting started. I think people are going to take their expertise, and it's just the beginning. Even though it seems like everybody has a course and everybody has a thing, and there's art, the famous market is already taken and all this stuff. I think this is just the beginning for info products. So like, if you're sitting at home and you have a successful business and you're like, what's the next thing? Maybe it's teaching people how to do that. Now, everybody can't teach. I will tell you that. But I do believe that there's these expertise. Like, if you know how to make a good cookie recipe, share it with the world. The world needs you. Like, there's all the things that the world needs, and it has to do with expert level stuff.
It's very true.
Wow, you look very somber, like you're deep in thought.
I'm thinking about all this because you're right that it's the beginning. People are like, oh, should I make a course? Is it too late? It's like, we didn't start yet, bro. We didn't start yet. What's happening is there's these gatekeepers. I wonder what the total revenue collected by every university in the country is. There's probably not even a way to figure that out.
Harvard's got.
It's like $1 trillion probably a year. It's big. And so what's happening is chunks of that are getting taken away from the centralized where you learn people and allocated to these, the random guy that teaches people how to start an ATM business, right? And he has 25,000 people that bought his course or whatever it is, or people that want to start a grill cleaning business. A buddy of mine, Mike Wainwright, he's in the Warplane Insiders group.
Yes.
He cleans grills for people. It's a really interesting business because it targets affluent people. And it's a nasty job. You can't clean your grill like he does. And he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars cleaning grills. But now he's also going to position himself as the black gold expert, right? If you want to learn how to make more money than you do at your current job, cleaning grills for, people, he's the guy that you'll learn that from. And how valuable is that? Because you couldn't even get that at a college or a university. And you're going to make more money than the average college graduate even makes doing a silly thing. It's the irony of all the old school, high school guidance counselors right now, how their heads are exploding because they said you never amount to anything because you didn't go to college and you literally make 5 times more money than they ever did, doing a weird thing that didn't even exist when they told you that. It's kind of like beautiful irony.
I didn't even know grill cleaning was a thing, but I'm so thankful it exists because I always forget to clean the grill, and it's caused,
really?
It's caused
Is it
how
a forget
how many
or-
fights has it caused because
It's because you put the barbecue chicken on the grill. Worst thing you can grill. Okay, nightmare, total nightmare. Anyway, do you want to explain?
I've ruined a few grills. That's all I have to say. So okay, continue.
Should we check in with Maverick and J-Lo in the back?
Yeah, see what
You
they're
guys,
doing.
Is everything
see
working?
Where we're at,
Are we
we're
still
just
on the
all over
internet?
place.
Is this working?
Everything's going good.
Okay, Maverick's really quiet. Everything's going good? Okay, let us know if there's any interesting comments or hater comments. Then we can juice the algorithm. That'd be really helpful.
You want a hater?
Well, the haters are helpful. But we don't really have any.
I have to say, when we do get haters in the Kid War Plan, I'm like, oh, we're going to have a great sales day, everybody, because all of the heroes come to fight the haters. And it's like, they just juice the algorithm, and it's like crazy.
Josh Fierstein says, haters are your elevators. What? Shout out to Josh. Let's talk about the Q index. Super, super interesting, and it relates to your small business. The Q index is this thing that was developed, I think, in the 60s. You looked it up.
1963.
And it's a ranking system. It's a way to attach numbers to how approachable a celebrity is. And, media buyer, or I'm sorry, not media buyers, but like advertising agencies use this. They also use it in political research to evaluate if a candidate has a chance. And so it's a way to rank how approachable and likable and trustworthy the public feels a celebrity is.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because that score in large part will dictate how much money these guys can get with endorsements, right? If you seem approachable and down to earth and more, think of Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe is one of my favorite celebrities, okay? Dirty Jobs guy, Mike Rowe. And he has a super high Q score. Very, very, very high. Because I think we all know if we were at Home Depot and Mike Rowe was there buying a bucket of nails, you could walk up and talk to him.
Best day ever. If I say Mike Rowe at Home Depot, best day ever.
Right. Now imagine he's there and you're like, hey, Mike, I don't want to take your time, but man, you're cool. Thanks for being you. I love Dirty Jobs. He would take a picture with you and talk to you. And I think, but imagine it was Hillary Clinton at Home Depot who has a very low Q score because she's a cold-hearted, non-approachable person.
I would actually be very concerned if Hillary, this might get us banned from the internet. I'd be very concerned if Hillary Clinton was there. I was like, who's on the list? If you know, you know.
Who's on the list of why she would be at Home Depot?
Yeah, I mean, she's there for a hammer.
Oh, you're talking
or
about
a shovel.
unaliving people. I'm with you. I'm picking up what you're throwing
She's
down.
got somebody to bury or something. I don't even know.
Yeah, I think there was one guy. There's
okay.
one conspiracy about that where one of her enemies unalived himself by shooting himself twice in the back of the head.
We are so getting censored.
Just Google that on the
Did we?
If
the
you really want to
algorithm
make
and-
sure you're successful unaliving yourself, 2 shots. Just to make sure.
Stop it.
Makes sense.
Stop it. Okay,
that's
we're back,
not possible.
We're back to the Q
well,
factor.
The question is, for your small business, what is your Q score? right? Like, how are you perceived by your customers or by your staff or whatever? And how can you improve it, right? The way you show up matters, and who people perceive you are is who you are to everybody else. And you might have like a delusional version of that for yourself, but the public kind of guides the value they'll give you based on these things. It's just something to think about: the way you dress, the way you show up, the way you articulate.
Who was it that the Q factor? We went to a Dan Kennedy seminar, and he was talking about the Q factor, and he was talking about how important this is, like your approachability and different things like that. But who was it that Disney paid for that person to come with his family like 4 times a year because he was so approachable, and it was like a marketing campaign.
They probably still do this.
They pay people lots of money to come, all expenses paid, and they pay them like $100,000 on top of it every time they visit.
This
or
was
something.
like in the 70s. It was Ed McMahon. So shout out to my boomer friends out there. Ed McMahon, Johnny Carson, right? Which was just before my time. I was born in 1981, and Johnny was still on TV, but I was little.
Wait, was it Johnny Carson or Ed McMahon?
Johnny Carson was like the Jay Leno, Jimmy Kimmel of that time, but then Ed McMahon is the guy that sat on the couch next to him, right? Right?
No.
He was the guy.
Oh, it was?
Yes, that's who that is.
I just thought he gave money to people.
No, that's one thing Ed McMahon did, but he got famous by being Johnny's number 2 guy. But he was a very like loved character by the whole nation back when fame was centralized, right? So you had like 3 channels: CBS, NBC, ABC. And anyway, none of that matters. But Disney would pay him to just go look like he's spending time at Disney, walk around, because all the attendees at Disney are like, "Oh my God, Ed McMahon was at Disney when I was at Disney. This is amazing." They probably still do that because it's super smart.
Oh, because
but he had a high Q score. That's the point.
They definitely do that because Johnny Depp sometimes will go into Pirates of the Caribbean and actually be on the ride himself. Yeah, because they have the what is it called? I don't remember what the little robots are called, but they have them. Yeah, animatronics. Will's so smart. Animatronics. And they'll have the animatronics that look identical to Johnny Depp, but sometimes they'll take them out, and Johnny Depp is actually sitting in the chair at the end of the ride.
Shut up. I just have to say,
that's smart.
Every single person that goes there every single day is looking to see if Johnny Depp is there. So even if he only comes there one day in the whole stinking year, you're looking for Johnny Depp, and you're hoping in your little Disney heart of hearts that you're going to actually see the real Jack Sparrow.
I look every single time. Every time.
See?
Wait, how many times have you been to Disney?
Sounds like too many.
We won't talk about that, but there was one time I went 5 times in 1 year. It was fantastic.
5 times in 1 year.
And you looked for Johnny Depp every time.
I don't
Every
like
single
Disney.
time. Oh, Disney's amazing, but there's a
Okay,
reason.
wow,
it's
there's
You
amazing.
just
Disney.
walk a lot, and it's really hot, and hot dogs cost $12. I don't get it.
I mean, if you go at Christmas time, it's literally the greatest, and it's not hot. It's like you can wear a jacket, but you're in Florida, so it's not like Michigan cold.
Josh has never been to Disney with children, so maybe that's the difference here.
We went to the Animal Kingdom, which was always cool to see like a giraffe.
And we went to the
around.
Magic Kingdom.
It's the
It was
best
just
part.
you and you. It was just you and I. But when I took the girls to Disney, it was magical. I know, and Disney might be an evil corporation, so there's going to be somebody on here that's like, Disney's evil. Okay.
Disney is evil.
Okay.
That's
different-
a foregone conclusion.
It's a little less evil because the CEO swap that they just did a couple
Yeah, they
days
did do
ago,
a
which was
CEO.
a big deal because they brought this dude in right before COVID started, and it was like, I mean, he came in with like obviously going into the pandemic, he didn't have an upside. It was horrible, but he did such a
might have
bad
been a
job,
market.
like such an absolutely horrible job, tanked so much stuff in Disney, and so the guy that retired that he replaced came back. And so now
Bob
he's back.
Iger. Yeah, Bob Iger was there forever.
Right,
But
long time.
I mean, I don't know if he's a good guy, so we also won't get there. But I will tell you, when you buy Disney, you're not buying Disney because you want to see a giraffe or a castle or a parade. You're buying an experience. You're buying awe. You're buying you're not just buying
You're buying
Disney.
experience.
You're buying an experience. You're buying wonder. That's what you're buying. Because when I saw the look in my daughter's eyes when they saw a princess, oh man, I'm gonna get emotional about Disney.
You're gonna get emotional about a paid person that dresses up as a princess.
No, it has nothing to do with the
My
princess.
robot brain doesn't allow. Look, from a marketing perspective, freaking brilliant. I get it. They're geniuses. It's just hard for me because I feel like I'm red pilled too much to like have it affect me the same way. But keep going. I'm sorry. I don't want to poo-poo your amazing magical fairy dream here. Go ahead.
I spent a lot of money. I even bought a $30 bubble thing that brought me so much joy. I think my mom's in the studio and my mom's crying. I think she is crying because I don't remember what the princess looks like. I remember what my daughter's face looked like when she was riding the Dumbo and laughing and giggling. I remember what when they saw the parade, or after we saw Olaf go off the stage and Judah was laughing and she was like, more. So sorry, I'm a little emotional. I know Disney might be evil, but like the wonder I saw in my children, I will never forget.
I think it's powerful, but it's not that is powerful. It's that human emotion is insanely powerful.
And let's bring this back to our people, right? How do you make window cleaning an experience? How do you make landscaping an experience? Like, you might not have a parade or a princess, but I just saw, Christmas lights are a thing in the industry, especially right now. Mm-hmm. And my neighbor, like, lots of people are getting Christmas lights all over their house. But I saw one, and they had they were dressed as elves. I guess they weren't little, but it was so magical. I'm like, I want elves to come decorate my house.
It's definitely a way to decommoditize whatever it is that you sell. But by decommoditize, I just mean no matter what you sell, if there's other people that sell it too, you're going to have a grouping of, this one's $5, this one's $6, this one's $5.50, this one's $4.80. And if everything kind of feels more or less the same, you take the cheapest one because it's like the same thing, right? You see 5 different apples. They're all the same shininess. They're all the same size. They're all the same type of apple. And one's 10 cents lower. You grab that one. So in small business or Disney, like, they've completely uncoupled logic from their prices. And that's called decommoditization. You can do that in any business by enhancing user experience, by adding in other perceived value things. There's so many studies about this. Wine tastes better when it's poured from a heavy bottle, for example. The incremental cost of extra glass in the bottle is probably pretty small relative to the giant markup in price that they can get. And this is the same exact wine that's in a lighter bottle, but people over and over, it tastes better because they think it's supposed to taste better because it was a heavy bottle. So what's your version of a heavy bottle in your business? And you gotta map out the whole customer life cycle, the experience, the touch points, the opportunities you have to blow people's mind and over deliver. That's what you want to figure out, because you can demand higher prices and you can decommoditize your prices simply only by enhancing the customer experience and focusing on the little tiny nuances like we talked about before, right?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Black Friday is coming up this week.
Oh,
so Black Friday is a contact sport. It's your little Black Friday heart.
I love Black Friday.
Have you been doing stretches? Are you getting? I don't want you to pull a hammy when you go out there with all the crazy Walmart people or wherever you're going.
Designer Week was at the thrift store last week, so I did do some pregame. You know what I mean? I had a scrimmage. I had a little scrimmage last week, and it was amazing. I did tell my son, hey, this year you might get to do Black Friday, and he lost his mind. But I will tell you that I do love some Black Friday, and I don't really love it because of the sales. It's the experience.
Is that your logical justification to pretend like that's why you don't love it, but really you do love it?
Because last year I didn't really have much on my list, but I just still love to do it. It's just an experience.
Because the people watching for sure.
I do love the people watching, but I also just love the strategy with my mom. I like eating a cheeseburger. I like eating a cheeseburger at 8 a.m. because why not? It's Black Friday. I like the strategy. I like winning.
Ooh, now we're getting to the dark side.
I like winning, everybody.
What does winning look like? There's 3 underpriced boxes of TVs and you get one of them before the other person does? Is that winning?
Yeah, I'm not usually for a TV.
Is it good that we're teaching our kids to get into contact sport mode with materialism and buying things we don't need to impress people that we don't like? Or I know that's not what we're doing, but there's an element of kind of that by being into Black Friday, is there not?
Oh, I can see where you could go into the whole consumerism blah stuff. I just love it. So you're not going to poo-poo on my parade.
I'm not poo-pooing. I'm trying to have a deep psychological question answered.
I do know that people have more regrets on Black Friday for their purchases. They just throw in extra stuff.
What I would always do on Black Friday, this is when you buy a washer and a dryer and a refrigerator. It's the home things, the high ticket things you need, and you can wait a little longer. It makes a lot of sense to me to just buy it for cheaper then. But I kind of get in and out. I don't know. Are you an in and out person? Maybe it's a man and woman thing. In and out. I don't know. But I like to be on a mission, buy thing, leave. You like to bask in the experience and the conversations and the belly laughs, right?
Oh, yeah. I like to wear a costume so my mom can see me. Like, I like all of the things. Like, I want to wear a costume. I want to eat food. Like, it's a whole experience for me. And it is about winning. I do like winning, but I don't know.
Well, we're getting ready to land the plane here in a few minutes, but I wanted to give some like hardcore value as a gift, a Thanksgiving gift of how you can grow your business in different ways. And one of those ways is by increasing your belief. Is everything cool over here? What's going on?
We're good. We're good. You keep on going, sir.
Is something broken?
Yeah, we're good. No, we're good.
Is it still working?
Everything is working. You just keep going.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
You weren't supposed to see our side conversations, so just keep going.
Well, we're just learning how to do all this. It's actually very complicated. I should take a picture and post it of what I see with all the things, and it's really fun, though.
There's lots of people and things happening for all of you to know. This is, yeah.
Okay.
Keep going with your belief. We're good.
Did you want to talk first, though, before we talk about the 5 ways to grow your small business? The little gift that you gave me before we started this? The little present?
That's going to be a whole thing. Maybe we should save it for next week.
Save it for last?
Save it for next week.
Save it for next week?
Or you want to just go with it?
Yeah, let's go with it.
Oh, we don't have that many minutes, so you're going to have to be very... Okay, I gave my husband a gift. Everybody.
We use the term gift lightly.
Okay. Okay.
Well, it's like a funny thing. It's not like a thing I'll use.
It's a funny thing. One thing that we like to do on Thanksgiving or holidays is we love to play board games. We own like everything of Monopoly. Like if there's a new Monopoly comes out, we get it. Like we have so many Monopoly games. Maverick, do you know exactly how many Monopoly games we have owned in the past? We own some in Michigan and in Texas. Like we're Monopoly people. Mav?
We have like around like 6 or 7.
Yeah, we have a lot. And I found something for Josh, and I'm going to pull it up. And I just gave it to him today. It's still in the wrapper. It's Miss Monopoly, and I wanted to know his feelings on Miss Monopoly. Do you want me to bring it over to you so you can read it, or do you want to just talk about it from over here?
You can read it, yeah.
Okay, so...
Miss Monopoly. Miss
Monopoly, which sounds really great. There's going to be people who are butthurt from this, so just hold the phone here. It's the first game where women make more money than men.
Okay.
This might be the most sexist game I've ever seen in my life. Okay? Because it says, now there's some really great, I think there was like a great idea behind this, but then they went full-blown woke sexist. That's what they did. Okay?
Yep.
You get more money just for being a woman. If you have, close your kids' ears. If you have a vajayjay, and yes, I will put a quarter in the thing. If you have a vajayjay, 2 quarters, crap. If you have one, you get more money just for pass and go. You just get more money for all the things because you have a vajayjay.
This is one of the dark parts of our world right now. And, I would like to believe that the heart behind creating things like this is really just trying to, help out a little girl to believe in herself and all that. I just know too much, okay? And that's like not the heart behind these things. It's a gross misunderstanding of not only the actual statistics about this topic, but what it does, it creates this fictitious enemy. Right? Think of an inner city kid that grows up. There's this awesome Ben Shapiro clip where he's talking on an all black panel, and they're talking about, I think they're in Baltimore, and how damaging it is if there's a little black kid in the inner city, if he grows up believing that there is a racist behind every bush, that there's oppression literally everywhere, from the 7-Eleven to the university, and that someone is out to get him and hold him down, which, yeah, sometimes that's true, right? But when you believe there's this like ubiquitous monster lurking around the corner to screw you over, it just means all-encompassing, like it's just bathing you in this oppression. When you believe these things, you're crippling the person that you're supposedly trying to help. And the irony of that clip for Ben Shapiro was, that city had like an all-black city council, a black mayor, a police chief, like most of the police force was black. The point isn't a race thing, but it's about division, right? It's about taking women and making them think that someone's trying to hurt them and hold them down. Just because someone is trying to hurt and hold a woman down doesn't mean that that's a thing at large. And this is a trick people do where we talk about the anomaly instead of the rule. We talk about the exception instead of the rule. The same thing with like the abortion argument is we talk about the rape and incest cases and pretend that that's what the argument's about. Well, that's less than 1% of the thing. So why are we talking about the 1% of the time thing instead of the 99% of the time thing? Are there sexist men? Duh, right? Are there racist people from all races? Yeah, there's hatred, like sin, like people are jerks, right? But the women making less than men thing, what it does, in my opinion, is it makes women feel like they have to, walk down this career path and get a pantsuit and go out and be aggressive and go try to make it, which violates kind of probably a lot of natural inclinations for someone that wants to have kids and raise a family. You can make as much money as you want. If you want to invent something, become a billionaire, you can do it. It has nothing to do with your private parts. It has to do with your brain and your willingness to suffer and go do that thing. There's tons of female entrepreneurs. And I promise you this, you're going to make the same amount of money if you provide the same amount of value. I think there's nuanced things with sex between men and women. Like, for example, if you're a female business owner, you can have attitude problems from male subordinates.
Oh, I do. I do believe that.
That's not a fake thing. But my point is to make a game for little kids that says you get paid $240 when you pass go. When the man, the little boy you're playing with, gets $200, it sets an absolutely wicked precedent that's not based in reality. That makes the woman want to be what she's not even supposed to be. And to me, it's sex. The creators of that game are sexist. You ever seen someone talk to a handicapped person and they talk really loud? Like a guy's in a wheelchair and you're like, hello, how are you today? And you're acting like he's an idiot, but it's like, no, his legs don't work. He was in a car accident. That is a form of, it's not called able, what's discrimination against handicapped people? Whatever that is, that's what that is when you're doing that. You think you're being nice, but what you're doing is you think you have to coddle the guy who has a disability because he's so much below you. It's your job to pull him up. Look, women aren't below me. Right? I would coach and talk to a woman like I would anybody else. It's like, stop making excuses, go provide real value, go crush it and stop feeling sorry for yourself, right? And to the handicapped person, it's like, go learn internet marketing, make $1 million. I just hate this idea. Another one is voter ID stuff. We think people in the inner city are too dumb to go get an ID. I don't, but lots of people do. And they claim they're trying to help the people. They're not trying to help the people. They're like petting their head like, oh, you poor thing. You couldn't possibly get an ID because you're so much far below me. That's what that game is to me.
I know. And what's really sad about this game is that women have done really cool things. So like the idea behind this is really kind of cool. Like, like a woman invented Wi-Fi or chocolate chip cookies or leak-proof diapers. Like you can go around. Like we're actually going to try to play this. You might not love that, but we're going to try to play this. Watch, I'll probably still lose. I probably am going to lose, even though I'm going to make more money than y'all.
We're so going down.
Mavericks, am I still going down?
We'd love to play Monopoly. It takes like a half a day to do it. It always sounds like a good idea, and it takes like 4 hours.
I love women entrepreneurs, and I don't think this celebrates women entrepreneurs. Because
I don't either.
We know lots of multimillionaire women entrepreneurs, bad mamma jammas, who've made millions of dollars.
Tons of them.
And it's not because someone gave them an extra $400 because they felt bad for them for being a woman.
Yeah.
It's because they went and advanced their mindset, their skill set, and their network. And they crushed it. Like, women can do amazing, epic things. And this could have been amazing. But instead, they said, aw, you can't make as much money. I don't know.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Window cleaning came in, or he commented on here and said, if I identify as a girl, can I collect more money?
That's a secondary can of worms.
That is a secondary
Probably yes. In the world we live in, yes. Because you deserve it because you're strong and brave, right?
Which then takes away the whole point of the game for what they're making.
Well, the real irony is when Caitlyn Jenner won Woman of the Year a few years ago.
Yeah, that's really sad.
So I heard a comedian talk about how men are so much better than women, even at winning Woman of the Year.
I'm going to chalk Miss Monopoly in your face.
The irony. They think this isn't it's assault on women. This isn't helpful.
Wait, you're saying it is an assault?
Yes. Like this type of stuff is hurting actual women. Like I think
love women
are exactly equal to me. Like for real. I think we're different. We have different personality traits and different tendencies and things, but not intellectually, not in what we're capable of. And I think all this stuff is an attack on actual women. It's so ridiculous. It's so dumb because it just breeds someone to feel like there's this monster behind the bush that's going to get them. And yeah, there's a monster here and there that's real. There's jerk guys that are old school and whatever. They exist, yeah. But what does that mean? You're not allowed to be successful now because that guy exists? Like, give me a break. Because everyone has struggles. Everyone has obstacles and adversities that you have to overcome. Every single person has that. I hate it when people dismiss other people's suffering just when they see the success. Like, we're really careful with our kids when they see a really nice car, a really nice house, or someone that seems like they're doing good. We try to burn into their brain to think the thought of, wow, look how much value that person must have created, right? Where most people, they default to, look how lucky that guy is. You can't dismiss the 15 years of suffering someone went through to invent or create or sell something or build a company or create value. You weren't there Tuesday 8 years ago when you had a hyperventilation panic attack, right? So if I see a woman that's crushing it, it's a high five. If I see a man that's crushing it, it's a high five. But this type of crap is just crippling little girls' ability to know they can just go crush it. They don't need the extra $40 from freaking fake Monopoly. So stupid.
Wow, I loved your powerful. Aw, you're just so sweet. I don't know.
Kind of irritated.
I know you're irritated, but like, I don't know. I just think that women. I think what you just said empowers women way more than this Monopoly game. So.
Well, I hope so.
I have a crush on you.
That's my goal in life.
I have a crush on you.
A woman empowerment person.
I have a crush on you.
Okay, so
you're not even responding to it. I have a crush on you.
I appreciate that, and I have a crush on you. And we got to end the podcast at some point, and we have two more things to talk about. 5 things to grow your business. First thing, do you want me to just run with it?
Yeah, go quickly because yeah.
If you want to grow your business more and achieve more money and satisfaction, one of the biggest things you can do to start with is find a way to increase your belief, your certainty, your confidence. The word confidence, Myron Golden does this awesome word study where you break apart the prefix and the root word of confidence is the word confide, and that means to trust. And the word confidence literally means to trust yourself. The problem is that a lot of small business owners, people in general, we continuously lie to ourselves and break trust with ourselves. If you say you're getting up early and you don't do it, you're taking away your confidence. Everything you say you're going to do that you don't do, you're breaking confidence in yourself. I would also argue that confidence itself isn't something you have to have or not have. A lot of people, I actually believe that everyone already has confidence. Okay, I'm not saying you should get confident. You already have it, but you might have the negative inverted version of confidence. For example, the really obese people, a really obese person that struggled with their weight for decades, who eats birthday cake for breakfast and M&Ms for lunch, right? That person who has shame and weird kind of psychological things happening and they have a food addiction, that person has tons of confidence. But the type of confidence they have is very destructive to them. They have negative confidence. They're 100% certain that they're not worthy. They're 100% certain that they don't deserve health, right? So ask yourself, what type of confidence do you have? And then work at it by honoring the promises you make to yourself, even the tiny ones, because people that are confident, everything goes easier for them. Literally, the world opens up for them. If you notice, the highest achievers have a disproportionate amount of belief. It's completely abnormal. They stand out like a sore thumb. You can feel it when they walk into a room. And no, I'm not talking about arrogance, which is a different thing. But I think arrogance and confidence seem similar to the untrained eye, because when you're a person of low confidence or negative confidence and you see a person that's arrogant or confident, it's intimidating to you. But the way to fix that isn't to talk about that person. The way to fix that is to start stacking up wins for yourself. Build your own belief. You'll be able to recruit easier. You'll be able to sell easier. You'll be able to move faster. You'll be able to collapse time. And that's a superpower. So that's my first tip. Do you have any commentary on that?
No, keep going.
Okay. Second tip is exercise the Gordon Irwin effect. The Gordon Irwin effect, I made it up, but you're going to love this. It's not a real name. There's no one named Gordon Irwin. Well, there probably is somewhere, but I'm not talking about that guy. I'm talking about Gordon Ramsay and Steve Irwin. Who doesn't love the crocodile hunter, right? And his son is now becoming the next generation famous crocodile hunter. It's such a tragedy that he died. But one thing that Steve Irwin and Gordon Ramsay have in common is that both of them have this absolute nerdy, magnetic, charismatic, and enthusiastic persona for the thing that they do. And it's like it's a success magnet, right? So even if you're not a chef and you're not a foodie? If you're not a foodie, you can still eat popcorn and watch Gordon Ramsay just torch people about how they're cooking the food wrong because it's entertaining. Why? Part of the reason why is because of the nerdy, magnetic enthusiasm that they have. So my question to you is, are you displaying Gordon Irwin enthusiasm when you run your team meetings, when you show up to give estimates to a client? Like, the way you show up, the energy you bring is a huge superpower. It's a differentiator, almost most. No one even thinks like this. So wake up and do it, because if you can become passionate about anything, you can get people to pay attention to you. That's why there's YouTube channels of people doing the most silly, weird, random things ever. But the biggest channels, there's this fire and nerdy enthusiasm by the host of that channel. What do you think?
Good day, mate. Yep.
Who doesn't love the crocodile hunter, by the way?
Cranky. I don't even know what he says. Crikey. I don't even know.
Oh, look at it. It's a beaut. Oh, and then he just picks up a venomous snake and like kisses it. Like the guy's nuts, right?
I do have to say, even the Gordon Ramsay thing is like, we love to like say things like when we're eating, like Gordon Ramsay-isms, because it makes food eating so much more fun. You know?
What's a Gordon Ramsay-ism?
Like, this is
Oh, bloody hell. Is that a swear word in the UK?
Yeah, I think you just
Anyway, the third tip to grow your business is to take a hard look at your offers. You know, for service businesses specifically, most of them don't even have an offer. You just have a service. Having a service is not the same as having an offer. Having a product is not the same thing as having an offer. Offer doesn't mean the thing that's for sale. It means all the components of all the things they get when they buy what's for sale, right? We might need to rewind and watch that back. So if you do a roof cleaning and a gutter cleaning and a house wash, right, and it's called the super bundle, okay, that's great. But the way to create your service into an offer is to better articulate each component of what the person's buying from you so they can associate a value with each line item. Well, the first thing you're going to get, Mrs. Jones, is you're going to get our platinum triple guaranteed roof protection package. And what that includes is this. This is a $300 value by itself. Then we do a follow-up coating where we do this, and then we do an inspection the next day, and it's this. The second thing you get, Mrs. Jones, is this, and you get this, and you get this, and you get this, and you're articulating what the offer is in a more distinct way so they can anchor themselves to a higher price. I just think, I know most service businesses do a really poor job of this. We basically behave as order takers, and we're hurting our own pocketbook by doing it, and you're hurting your employees by doing it. You know, the reason you need to make more money isn't to buy a bass boat and a hot tub and a jet ski, although that's really great. Hot tubs are fun. The reason you need to make more money is so you can pay people above market rate so they're loyal, so they can't leave and replace your job in 2 seconds. So you have to charge higher prices to build a real business, not to mention the fact that you're going to have unrealized costs when your business is way bigger that you don't have to pay for right now, and you need your prices today to reflect the prices you need them to be tomorrow. So get on it and look at your offers. What do you think? Anything?
I'm obsessed with you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. The next one is joint ventures. So a lot of people that start a company, they start a company because they're running away from something rather than going towards something. They don't quit jobs, they quit a boss, right? You've heard that said, right?
Oh yeah, I've quit a few bosses.
People quit a boss. Now, that's cool because like I want everyone to be self-employed. And if you're just a small owner operator working on your own terms, providing for your family, you're a freaking hero to me. It's amazing. It's infinitely better than working for Larry, the idiot who, you know, is always complaining about your paperwork being wrong, but he himself doesn't do his paperwork, right? Like we all had a Larry in our past. But the problem is when you're running away from something instead of towards something, what it winds up happening is you can operate with a lone wolf mentality. And the highest, most successful achieving people in the world, they have a tribe, they have an inner circle, they have mentors, plus they are a mentor. They have joint venture partners that they partner with. There's cross promotions, there's upsells and cross sells, there's things happening, there's strategy. They have a team, and not just a team of employees, but a team of other entrepreneurs, right? So my encouragement, like for the fourth tip here, is to take a look at joint ventures. And joint ventures is asking yourself, how do I get a relationship with all the non-competing service businesses in my area? How do I know them on a first name basis? If you had 10 other companies that don't do the same thing you do, but they're selling to the same type of customer that you have, why are we not best friends with these people? You know, my wife always says the best way to get friends is to be friendly. It's a very profound, deep thing, but it's true. But are you calling and emailing and DMing these people? Are you taking them and buying them a ham and cheese omelet? Because that's the best omelet there is. Are you doing this? Are you proactive about it? Or are you sitting there waiting for your phone to ring, hoping that something magical happens to you? You have to go do it. And joint venture is one of the ways to do that.
Oh my goodness.
Ham and cheese omelet? Are you a veggie omelet person?
I'm a veggie person. I'm a veggie person. So when you said ham and cheese omelet, I'm like this. No.
You'll like the last one. So the last tip, the fifth tip, and we'll kind of land the plane here, is to showcase your elephant. Showcase your elephant. You know, the best, most ethical business owners are oftentimes the quietest. They whisper. They market like this. and they're like ashamed to show the epicness that they have to offer the world. It's really, really sad. And like one of the people that we think is an amazing marketing case study is P.T. Barnum. And he was the second millionaire in the United States back in the 1800s when $1 million was a lot of money. But he was a fascinating, unbelievably gifted marketer. The guy knew how to get attention when the only way to get attention was through a newspaper, okay? And I'm talking nationwide attention. One time, he bought an elephant and he brought it to the United States. In fact, it was the first elephant ever to be in the United States.
Thank you, P.T. Barnum.
The first
Thank
one
you.
ever. Now, he didn't just get it to have it as a pet, although that's pretty cool. He used it to market his museum. And he put it next to the train station. I think it was in New York City. I forget.
Yes.
I think it was New York
Yeah.
City. 10,000 people a day are on the trains. Even back then, there's thousands of people a day. And they would walk by, or they would be driving by, looking out the window of the train, and they'd see an elephant with a horse plow attached to it, plowing a field like a horse would, okay? And he plowed the same field every day over and over for 6 months straight. There was no crop being planted. There was nothing being planted. It was a spectacle to get people to go to his museum. And it worked, which is why we're talking about him over 100 years later right now. So the question for you is, you don't need an elephant, but the question is, are you showcasing your elephant? Are you doing anything interesting? Are you taking any risks ever in the way that you market and the email sequences you do and the relationships you build and how you go on social media? Like, do things to get attention, because attention is the real currency. You know, a lot of people want what you have. They don't even know that you have it. I would guess that a lot of the people watching this right now, almost all of their actual friends in real life don't even understand everything that you do and what you offer. What in the world is wrong with that? Do you hate money? Do you hate it? If you hate it, you can send the extra to me. I'll buy Jibby Will some Gucci shoes with it. Listen, that's my 5 tips.
I have a few things for you, but you just hit a memory, so I was like getting a little teary-eyed.
Sure.
Circuses used to travel with a big tent. Talking about P.T. Barnum real quick.
Yep.
And what would happen is my grandpa was kind of like a crotchety man, but like still like lovable and loved wonder. He was a professional wonder deliverer on Christmas and different things. But I would remember that the circus used to come into town. Babe, you're going to love this, just so you know. The circus used to come to town, and it was always a big thing for my grandpa because the elephants would put up the tent. And so it would draw this crowd before the circus, and the elephants would put up the tent, and we would watch the elephants put up this tent. But then, of course, after you watch the elephant put up the tent, you have to go to the circus. And so it was like the pre-show, and it was free to watch the elephants put up the tent. And so do they actually need elephants to put up the tent? No. Basically, it was just like the last
It's so
bit.
genius. Listen, we have to end the podcast
Okay,
here, but
I have an entrepreneur tip for real quick, and then you can pray.
we're breaking a rule. It's okay.
I know,
Go
but we
ahead.
started late. So as an entrepreneur, this is a big week of happy Thanksgiving, happy Black Friday, happy Small Business Saturday, happy Cyber Monday before we see you next week. But I will tell you this. As an entrepreneur, sometimes it's hard to downshift and do holidays and do vacations because you don't see an ROI, because you're so business minded that it's hard to downshift. But as a unicorn, I can tell you the ROI that you are going to get from turning off your phone for Thanksgiving, for sharing it with your family, is going to put rocket fuel into your business. That when you show up intentionally this week for your family, that is going to give you a really big ROI for your business, because when you deposit into your entrepreneur family, it gives you a longer stretch to go.
That's true. It's very true. And last but not least, if you like some of the tips I gave you today, go to getrecessionmarketing.com. There's an itty bitty tiny sample of some of the things that I've been teaching to a group of entrepreneurs from all over the world. It's called asymmetrical marketing, and kind of this different way to look at these things so you can grow your business faster, not just in a recession, but specifically and extra helpful in a recession. Go to getrecessionmarketing.com. That's going to be one of our Black Friday cool things that you can get, and it's very, very powerful. And Ashlee, would you close us with a closing prayer?
I will. I do get nervous praying on, but let's just go for it.
Yeah.
Dear Jesus, thank you so much for dying on the cross for us, Lord. We love you and worship you and honor you, God. And we just pray that this week is not just about family, but it's about you and the way that we honor you and the way that we honor the people around us, Lord. We love you. And we know that when families get together, sometimes families need healing, Lord Jesus. And I just pray that you heal all the broken parts in all of us, Lord Jesus, and that you be with us, Lord. Lord, send your Holy Spirit to fill people up in this holiday season, Lord. And we just pray that you would shine bright. In Jesus' mighty name. And all God's people said,
Amen.
Amen.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.